Good day, Miss Everett.
Hi.
What can I do for you today, Miss Everett?
Mind if I ask a few questions?
The asker always reveals more than the one who answers. Ask away.
I finished The Betrayer's Price.
Did you? Congratulations are in order. You might want to check the box again. One never knows.
I'll do that. Are you a member of the Daedalus Club?
If I were a member, I'd be sworn by oath not to reveal the name of any member, and that would include myself. Do you know what the penalty is for breaking an oath?
No. What?
Having your eye plucked out.
I hope that's not the kind of trick you pull for the tourists.
It's pretty convincing with a bit of stage blood.
Is it true that every member of the Daedalus Club once pulled off a grand game?
Oh, yes. It doesn't matter who you know or how successful you might be. Even CIA code breakers have to create a game.
There are CIA code breakers in the Daedalus Club?
Certainly. It's about the game in all its forms, though magic and illusion play a large role, naturally.
Naturally. So, can you tell me more about what a grand game is exactly?
I suppose I might tell you about some of the famous games of the past, those that became so well known they can't really be considered secret anymore.
Do you think it's possible that someone could be running a grand game in Oxford? Right now?
Is it possible?
Well, not me.
Not me.
You have my attention. Tell me about some of the famous grand games.
Let's see. There was the successful TV illusionist. He was famous for making large things disappear.
You mean...
No names, please. As it happens, one of his most legendary stunts was to make the Statue of Liberty disappear from the New York harbor for 30 minutes.
I remember that.
It wasn't just for the TV cameras. That feat was a bid for entry to the Daedalus Club.
No way! Did he get in?
Remember the eye, my dear. Remember the eye.
Tell me about another grand game.
And this one caused quite a scandal. Tiffany's in London had a window display of a ring called the Crensfield Star. The pink diamond in this ring was worth millions.
Yeah?
One day, the Tiffany's manager noticed that the ring was gone. The security guards remembered a well-dressed, frail old lady who had stopped to ask questions. Within hours, the theft was all over the news, and the police were searching the city. They kept getting strange tips about this little old lady, and were led on a merry chase. It was on the news all day, getting more and more bizarre.
But...
What is it?
did they really steal the ring?
My dear, do you think the Daedalus Club would accept a thief? Let me finish the story. No, in the end, the ring was found the next morning, in Scotland Yard, in the cup of coffee of the chief detective on the case.
Oh, that is awesome! With my luck, though, I'd end up in jail.
There's always risk in a great game. Managing it is the sign of a master, but it's not a stunt I would recommend to you, no.
Any more grand games you can tell me about?
Just one more, I think. This was a game a potential member designed for his wife. She was a twin and had been separated from her sister when they were small. The man found the twin and plotted a way for the two women to meet. One of the sisters was an antique collector and the other worked for Sotheby's. He designed a beautiful game that had them both tracking down pieces of an ancient chess set until the quest brought them together. A lovely piece of work. And touching, very delicately done.
I see what you mean. There are all kinds of games.
Perhaps someday you will invent yet another kind, Miss Everett. I look forward to it.
A little switch on the back of the box allows you to control whether the devil pops out or not. The contents of this vial will switch from liquid to solid state when salt is added. I was going to buy a few things today for my nephew. He's just starting out.
Your nephew has good taste. I still find those items useful myself. Take what you need and pay me on the way out.
Thanks. This discrete device will play the associated sound when pressing the button on its remote controller. The money put into the coin slot disappears in a hidden compartment. Don't forget to give the money back afterwards. The bread and butter. Classic magnet. The contents of this vial will switch from liquid to solid state when salt is added. Your genuine private life violator. I already have that. Makes your eye color change without any kind of glass. Triggering the invisible wires coming with the device will trigger the flash powder and cast a bright flash of light. The only thing that differentiates this fake blood from real blood is the fact that it's easier to wash out. Any checks written with this ink will disappear within a few minutes. While looking perfectly normal, these gloves will make any object stick to their surface. Break and repair this magic wand in the blink of an eye. The sides of this cube can be swapped by pressing a button to match your prediction. Oh, now I get it! It looks like a younger Mephistopheles. Is that a joke? Or is Mephistopheles more famous than I thought? Or more conceited? I picked up a few things. I need to pay you before I go.
I know what you took. £12, please.
Neat trick, that one.
Merely a shopkeeper's necessity, Miss Everett. Enjoy your day.
Thanks, I will. She's both warm and disturbing, like a crazy mother or something. Department of Clinical Neurology, Oxford University, Administrator. The nameplate on the door says Dr. Linkweller.
Can I help you?
Hi, I'm Samantha Everett. I'm working with Dr. Stiles.
Are you? You're not in the department.
No, I'm studying English Lit.
Well, that's Dr. Stiles' business. When you see him, remind him that I need that equipment receipt today.
I have something for you.
Oh my God. I gave up hope of ever laying eyes on this. The auditor's been hounding me for weeks. Thank you, Miss Everett.
My pleasure. I've only started to work for Dr. Stiles. I was hoping to find out more about him.
Well, it's not my place to talk about Dr. Stiles. I can tell you that Mr. Headley, he's the dean of the department, he was quite an admirer of Dr. Stiles. Naturally, we were all deeply saddened by what happened.
Would it be possible for me to see Mr. Headley?
I'm afraid not. He's very busy today. Wait, I do appreciate your bringing that receipt. Let me see if he's got a moment. Mr. Headley, I have a Miss Everett that would like a brief word. It's about David Stiles.
Send her in.
In you go.
Miss Everett, a pleasure to meet you. Won't you sit down?
Thanks. And thanks for seeing me.
I'm always happy to make time for David. I've heard from him too little of late. How is he?
Fine. Very self-directed.
Well, that's something. Are you a relative?
Me? No. I'm his assistant. He just hired me.
Did he? Interesting. How can I be of service, Miss Everett?
Could you give me some background on Dr. Stiles? I don't know much about him.
David Stiles was one of the brightest lights at Oxford. A truly brilliant and original thinker. He was the sort of man it was easy to envy. Wealth, a prestigious family name, good looks, a beautiful wife, effortless public success. Then there was the accident. A horrific thing. There's a poem by Robert Frost. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief, so dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay.
That's beautiful. I wonder... Never mind.
We must be honest with each other, you and I, for David's sake. What do you wonder?
It's silly. I just wondered which is worse. To have been golden, to have had all that and lost it, or never to have had it at all.
Not at all. Perhaps David asks himself the same question.
Are you aware that Dr. Stiles is conducting an experiment right now?
Of course. He had to submit a plan to the university, standard procedure. Frankly, I was happy to see him working again.
Oh, that reminds me. Dr. Stiles wanted me to pick up a copy of the experiment plan he submitted. He misplaced his copy.
I think, young lady, that Dr. Stiles will have to call me and ask for that himself.
I'll tell him. I've heard rumors about Dr. Stiles. Students say people have disappeared during his experiments, and...
Stop. Don't repeat that nonsense in here, please.
Sorry.
No, it's only natural you would be concerned. He is your employer. There has been a lot of vicious gossip about David, but believe me, there's no truth in it.
Then how did it get started?
When someone is a little too successful, it inspires a lot of green-eyed spite. Should that paragon fall, let's just say there are certain people who love nothing more than to get out their knives and gather round the carcass. Of course, David hasn't helped himself any. If he insists on living like a hermit in that house, people are bound to believe the worst.
You mentioned that certain people were jealous of Dr. Stiles and might have spread the rumors. I don't suppose you'd tell me who. It might be good for me to know in case I run into them.
No, I don't think we need to discuss that.
Okay. So you're convinced that Dr. Stiles poses no danger? No danger to, say, students who are participating in one of his experiments?
Absolutely not. He may be on leave, but he's still a valued member of this department. I've reviewed his case personally. There's nothing physically wrong with David Stiles. It's been a pleasure, Miss Everett, but I really must get back to work.
Thanks, Mr. Headley. You've been a big help.
I only wish the best for David. I hope you'll treat him well and be a support. He allows so few people near him.
I'll do my best.
Goodbye.
Bye. I want to find out who David's enemies are inside the neurobiology department. I should snoop around in David's files. I guess not everyone in the department is a fan of Dr. Stiles. At least, that's what Mr. Headley says. Is there anyone in particular I should watch out for?
Mr. Headley doesn't tolerate departmental gossip, and neither do I.
Ah. Dr. Stiles asked me to get a copy of his experiment plan. The one he filed with the department, he misplaced his copy.
I'm afraid Dr. Stiles will have to come by himself for something like that. Or telephone. We don't give those kind of documents out to students.
But I'll tell him. Oh, Mr. Headley asked if you would bring him a cup of coffee.
Did he? That's odd. Mr. Headley gets his own coffee.
Damn, she took the key. I need to find a way to snatch it somehow. She keeps the key to the filing cabinet in that cup. I could try to take it with sleight of hand, but she's a real hawk. This will require something a little more devious. Hey, that key is missing.
What?
Yeah, see?
What on earth? You didn't take it, did you?
Me? Why would I want it? You have a spare, I hope.
At my flat.
That sucks.
It even blows.
I can get Susan out of the room with this trick, but I'll need to get set up for it first. Good. Now I just need something to hold it in place. Now it's ready to go. Definitely not my style. I'll leave them hanging here. Ugh, no thanks. If she finds this, she might return to her office too soon. I think this first aid kit needs to disappear. Abracadabra! Wouldn't it be nice? I only need to set up the first part of the trick.
Ouch! What happened?
I cut myself. Ow! Do you have disinfectant or something?
I'll get the first aid kit.
Found it. If Susan finds this missing, she'll know I took it. I should fix that if I have time.
I apologize for the delay. You'd think grown students would be above silly pranks.
Really?
All right then, let me see it.
You mean, touch it? Oh God, sorry. I'm such a baby about stuff like this.
For heaven's sake, it has to be dealt with.
I'll do it. It'll be better that way, trust me. Is that a first aid kit? I'll take it to the bathroom and do it myself. Thank you so much.
As you like. Just don't drip blood in the hall, please.
Hey, excuse me. Hello? Hi, you're Malik, right? You're in Dr. Stiles' experiment.
Shh. What do you want?
What's the big secret?
Nothing. I don't like everyone knowing my business.
I just wanted to talk for a minute about Dr. Stiles.
All right? But I have class in 10 minutes, so it will have to be fast.
What made you sign up for the experiment?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, what made you sign up for the experiment?
It's not a crime. I could use the money.
Since you're in the neurobiology department, you must have known Dr. Stiles before the experiment.
Known of him, yes.
You heard about him from people in the department?
Do you have any idea who Stiles is? He is, or was, one of the most famous neurobiologists in the history of the field. I studied him in high school. So yes, I guess I know something about him. Or at least I know the man he used to be, when he was a part of this department.
Dr. Stiles is still a part of the department, isn't he? He had to submit an experiment plan to Mr. Headley.
Or maybe technically. But everyone knows he's suffered brain damage in the accident and is no longer competent.
Believe me, he's in possession of all his wits. In fact, he has a few I'd like to extract myself.
Then why has he stopped teaching? Why has he not published since the accident?
Maybe he couldn't face everyone feeling sorry for him all the time and asking about the accident over and over, and then expecting him to have completely forgotten about it in 3 months, and calling him crazy if he hasn't.
Stiles owed it to the world, to his students, to continue his work.
Says who?
Think what you like.
What did you think of the experiment last night?
Strange. And surprising.
Last night was strange, wasn't it? What's the point of imagining exercising?
That wasn't strange. Research has shown that imagining exercising causes the brain to generate the same impulses to the muscles and the nervous system as actually exercising, providing almost the same health benefits. It's big news for healthcare. especially for disabled people. There are a lot of studies being done on the subject right now.
So, what was strange about the experiment?
I need to get to class.
Come on, you said strange. Why?
Just to finally meet Dr. Styles. And that mask. That basement.
It is rather dramatic.
But the strangest thing was that, despite all of that, I... Never mind.
What?
He seemed normal. I was expecting... I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah. Did you notice anything unusual about Styles' equipment?
No?
Nothing at all?
It was a standard fMRI setup. A good one. It's unusual to have a system that expensive in a private home, but otherwise, it's non-invasive. Harmless, as he said. I'm late for class. I have to go.
See ya!